Hello beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. So this week I want to focus the reading on what is the key that's going to unlock the next 3 months, so January, February, March. We have key A, which is this beautiful green key B, which is from a tea leaf, and key 3, which is the Ankh, the key of life. So before we go into the corresponding section for each key, I felt called to bring in the ancestors today. And so I also chose accordingly the rose gold Calamira spritzer, which I'm going to spray on my hands, rub until the alcohol dissolves, and then smell. And then just use to fluff my aura. Let's imbue the aura with all this love, maternal love, because rose gold has to do a lot with maternal love. So rose gold in particular embodies, it's the total embodiment of love, the divine mother of the divine. So her message is that the only real power in the universe is love. So your superpower is love. And as humans, we need love and connection to thrive. So to know the Divine Mother is to know and receive pure abundance and joy. So this is an essence that really allows you to be held, and it also brings cohesion when you've been shattered by shock or trauma, and it'll bring in softness. So just know that you're never alone, you're on track, and you're always loved and supported with this particular spritzer, which I absolutely love. It's really gentle and like it feels really soothing to the soul. So I really like bringing it into the space. Going back to the key A, key B, key C. Okay, key A. This is the part of the section of the reading for you if you chose this key. This beautiful green key of destiny. Spirit, God, universe, show us which symbol would help unlock the key for this collective. What symbol does this collective need to... So I wrote about this, I think, just before Christmas. This is the card of the vortex, the symbol of the vortex. And it's a way to connect to your galactic guides, your galactic family, your starseed guides and families. It's also something, a call to going to places where there's sacred energy. So it could definitely be churches. It could be a place like Sedona, a place that's deemed sacred because of the way the energy is kind of, it coalesces. So it's groups. So like ley lines, and sorry, I'm having a moment here. Ley lines or places where the energy is really strong. So that's what a vortex would be. And the card is also encouraging you to, you can use actually the symbol to create a vortex in your place, a place where you can recharge. So vortexes in the context of my oracle deck have to do with connecting to Sirius. And so a lot of the vortexes that are available are actually starseed vortexes, so you can recharge with that energy and reconnect with that energy. So this is a really good one to have, I think. So go and visit a place, go create a vortex in your garden. You can use the symbol to do that. Place the vortex somewhere and just connect with it, and then you can use it on the chakras as usual and all that kind of thing. So you're literally recharging your chakras and your energy fields with this symbol. What other information can we get about what needs to be unlocked, but also how to unlock it? So we have a vortex, which is kind of a form of unlocking. And then for this pile, we also have the card of compassion. So I often believe that compassion comes from having compassion for the self first and foremost, because if you can't have compassion for the places in which you're suffering, you can't extend that to other people. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. So developing compassion for yourself and for the others, empathy, compassion. Yes, this is the card of Starting with compassion for the self so that it can flow out into the world. And if you're not drinking from your own pool of compassion, then how can you extend it to other people? So the idea is that by being compassionate for yourself, without it being an ego trip, you then allow others to develop compassion for themselves too. And you become a catalyst of change in the world. So something to think about, another key to unlocking the next few months. Okay, what else does this collective need to understand to unlock the key to these next 3 months? So what is the key and what is it that needs to be unlocked? So you have the card into the unknown. So not knowing, which is very challenging. I find it extremely challenging not knowing, I'll be honest with you. But actually I think the key to a really exciting and fun life is not knowing the next, well, just knowing the next step, but not knowing where it's going to lead. So you have to move forward in with absolute faith and trust that you're actually being escorted. So it's a bit like a game in a way, I think. If you can see it as a game, like, you know, if you look at the lady in here, she has like a mask over her eyes, and you're learning to move with all your other senses, you know, not like your rational mind, but like your body is guiding you, and it's taking you to places you probably wouldn't go if you didn't trust that it was for you know, the highest good. So you take the next step and then you keep moving forward without really seeing what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. I think that's an absolutely awesome metaphor for life. As I said, this is a great metaphor for life, but imagine that you're not only a pathfinder, but a path maker. You know, if you could see these next 3 months as a game that you're playing, like a form of Catan or Monopoly, you know, how would that change? You're actually moving forward on that board. And the board, you don't know the board yet, but it's like it's a game. I think that's a really good analogy. So bring the fun, playful side to it. Okay, so what other information can we get about this particular key? What is the key and what are we unlocking? Sanctity. Through offering, even the most mundane problem can become a sacrament. So it's about, you know, this sacredness of life, of course, but also maybe it's time to go and offer, because when I see offering, I think go and offer to the gods, go and offer to the earth, go and offer, make your life maybe an offering. You know, then everything becomes sacred and a sacrament. You're giving of yourself. So what would happen if for the next few months you were the offering, you offered yourself and you made offerings? I'm just being pulled into the Tibetan monks that are walking from Texas to Washington and how they're making the whole thing an offering. And that's what it feels like to me, like go out into the world and become the offering and see what changes and what happens. One final message about this collective, what key is being revealed, or what does the key, what is it unlocking, and what does that mean? Soften. And that ties in really to compassion for me, and trying to force thing, you know, with the into the unknown. There's this a lot in, I think, in the spiritual world. We're told to set goals and then make it happen, right? And I think part of the energy that I'm feeling is it's more like, what would happen if you actually softened? Like instead of pushing, forcing, you know, we're in a really deep yin place until probably mid-February, until we change into the fire horse, the year of the fire horse. So yin is all about softening, deepening, wintering. So what would happen if these next 3 months you softened a little bit? You know, you let go and you allowed the universe and the spirit and God, whatever you want to call it, to move through you. And it might be nothing at the beginning, but knowing that things are happening. Now it's less forcing, less of that yang energy and more of this really nurturing, softening, you know, yin. If you look at it, she's holding a herbal tea, she's drinking, taking the time, softening a bit. Like you don't need to know all the answers. Maybe you're exactly where you need to be. You just need to soften in so that things can happen through you. And that feels very appealing to me. And I have to confess, I am deep in wintering. right now, and don't have a really real sense of where things are going right now. And I kind of resonate with this pile quite a lot. Like about this card, these cards are also connected to the water season, which we're in, because it's a water, it's connected to the water element, and it's about care, a kind, unhurried bedside manner, like an old-fashioned nurse who truly cares for her patients. A symbol of hope for those facing hardship. She understands that loving, nurturing acts can bring light to the darkest corners. So I really see this card as like a slowing down, like a really, really slowing down with compassion towards yourself in your thoughts, your words, your actions, and spreading softness and compassion. We get back to this. So, you know, if your role this for the next 3 months, and that's the key, would be to become the offering of compassion, softening, and kindness into the world, and see where that takes you. Even if it might take you nowhere, you know, you're changing. What would happen if you treated yourself differently and you did things differently? Favorite things to say is that I think that we should be accountable for what we put out into the world, so our frequency. I know it doesn't mean being love and light all the time, even though I think that would be the ideal, but it's not feasible as a human. I think what we're talking about is like, instead of being reactive, maybe what would happen if we soften into like a more compassionate approach to people, instead of judging them and being so harsh, like, okay, everybody's going through something in some way, you know, and why don't we meet them with that place of love and compassion and openness and kindness? How would that change, you know, the energy around us? I'm sure it would quite a lot. Okay, I'm going to end with a couple of tea leaves because I think they're fun, and I think life needs to be fun, because if it's not fun, then life loses its spark. So we have the teardrops, great personal sorrow. So maybe some of you are going through like a period of great personal sorrow, some deep, deep grief about maybe what you wanted in life that's not showing up, or maybe some deep personal. This also points to me about despair. You know, I know a lot of you were all hoping that things would be different, and I know I can resonate with that too. But maybe one way to think about it is that maybe what's happening is actually better than what you really wanted. So something to think about. And then the other one, which one wants to come out? Whoop, this one jumped out. Okay, so we have the clouds, temporary problems. So just know that this is just temporary. So I'm going to say soften in towards yourself. Like, I know a lot of you would like things to move. I know a lot of you would like, you know, what's happening? Why isn't it here yet? I've done everything I needed to do. Why? Well, how about you soften? Maybe that isn't the path for you. And maybe by softening, you allow things to happen. This is making me think of yoga also. If you're called to this pile, maybe one really good thing you could do for yourself these next 3 months is to do yin yoga. And you can find people on YouTube, but so that what yin does is it softens you into your connective tissues, and it forces you to be present with what is. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this compassion, this softening, you have the vortex, you can go and charge yourself up and receive this energy and just allow yourself to soften so that you can open up to what's coming. Because remember, this is only until March, right? What is coming? If you're too hard, you're too rigid, how can things come to you? How can they flow through you? It's just literally impossible. It's like anything that wants to come to you is hitting a wall. And so it's like encouraging you to just see this as really temporary and just soften towards yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and take care of yourself. This is really, for you guys, the key is a period of self-care. So I hope this helped. Don't despair, don't fall into despair, even though despair is part of what's coming up. It's also just move through it. And that's why yin yoga is coming up, I think. It's also just move through what's there instead of hitting against it. Just allow yourself to drop in with and soften into it. Let the yin yoga, that practice, soften you. Wishing you a beautiful week, and until next time. Hello, key 2. This is your pal if you chose this key, which says successful outcome to your problems. So let's see what this particular key is about and what is it that it's unlocking in you. So let me grab my cards. Sorry for the... So Spirit, Universe, God, Creatrix, Goddess. What is this key and what is it unlocking? What is this key and what is it unlocking? So for you guys, you're having a leap in consciousness, which is the symbol that has to do with like a whole different perspective on life that's happening. So remember, this is for January, February, March, and it could be simply as a whole different perspective on life is being downloaded into you, which is pretty cool. Okay, and so what this symbol coming out, this literally means that your soul is moving to another timeline. And so you're going to have access to new abilities and a deeper understanding of the bigger picture and its role within it. So literally you're being prepared for a new function. It can become with an upgrade, but it's also you're at a crossroads. Sorry. So literally who you were before this card, I'm going to say before this period, is just not going to be available anymore. And you're stepping into a whole bigger, just more interesting version of yourself. So you can use rituals to do this. And it can also relate to cosmic energies. And as we know, there's lots of geomagnetic activity, solar storms. We have a lot of stuff happening in astrology. It's like an impulse to upgrade humanity, basically. So you can use this symbol to help you step into a great expression of your soul's work. And it can also help you ground a lot of that when all the cosmic upgrades are happening, and they can be very difficult. So you can wear it especially on the roots, sacral and solar plexus. So interesting. So this collective is actually going to deal with a whole new experience of itself. I mean, how cool. How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? So let's get some more information on this. So what is this key about and what is it unlocking? Well, okay. We have the card Respect. So it probably has look how beautiful this, the butterflies. So how is it? It probably has to do with self-respect, but also, I guess, respecting everybody and everything around you. So as I mentioned, this is about self-respect. So where are you withholding self-respect for yourself? Because you can't expect the world to respect you if the frequency that you're emitting has little to do with how people respect you. So if you're not honoring what's sacred in yourself, how can people honor that? That's kind of, as so within, without. So respecting another is to honor their worthiness with a feeling of deep admiration for them. So respect is actually expressed through behavior. So this is an encouragement to practice self-respect and to see how we have withheld self-respect in many of the relationship dynamics in our life. So something to think about. This is also a reminder that you deserve to be honest, that you're worthy of respect. And so that respect needs to come from yourself. Like you nearly need to work on self-respect. And then, of course, the world will mirror that back to you. So that's kind of what it's unlocking. Let's see if there's more information about this. So, Spirit Guide, what is this key about and what is it unlocking? I keep hitting my light. Okay, this one. Details. So are you getting lost in details? This makes me think of Virgo energy, where there's so much information that you don't know what to do, and too much choice kills the choice. And you're getting lost in everything around you. This could also be somebody who spends too much time on social media, and it dilutes your own clarity and your own sense of self so much. I've reached this point where I wish I could just get off of them, and I have done it in the past. But it's like I just think we're all craving for real honest connection And our brains, more than anything, need to slow down and start processing all the stuff that comes at us. You know, we can't handle it. It just makes us all a little loopy. And that's kind of the sense I'm getting. There's just too much. And how can you stop losing yourself in all this information that actually you don't need, and it's probably not relevant to you? And I'm not saying don't stay informed, because I think staying informed is really important, but I'm saying stop losing yourself in all that's available. I think it's really making us all unwell. Okay, Spirit, give us one card. What key is being unlocked in us, and what is it, what we need to understand? No, come on, one card. Okay. You have the divine source. Help me know that all my deepest needs will be met. Let me trust that you have a plan and the right actions will come. You are my source for all. So this is a card from it's called the Divine, what's it called? The Divine Abundance Oracle deck. And remembering that we are not our own source of abundance, but that we are just the channel for divine source. So if we remember that and position ourselves to be that source by having self-respect, by opening ourselves, by, you know, I'm going to say staying away from too much. I think this really muddies and makes us very murky energetically. I can see, like, energetically when I connect with somebody, how much what's in their field, like and it's like there's a loss of identity, and there's definitely a loss of connection that's happening through this form of brainwashing. So it's about, you know, engaging in the things, like meditation would be one, walking in nature, you know, all these, we are, as I mentioned in for key A, we are still in a very yin part of the season, and it's a very deep internal wintering season. So when we do that, we actually reconnect. So we kind of log off from the world and we go internally. We can allow more of that divine source to flow. So something to think about. Just make time for meditation, stopping, baths, places where you unplug from the manicness of the world, and where you can just, your soul, you can start emitting your own frequency. Okay, and I'm going to end this segment with 2 tea leaves. So we have cup. You should accept valid criticism. So maybe that has to do with the card of the details. So this also, are you being too detailed? Are you looking too much at the details, and have you forgotten the big picture? Or are you just looking at the big picture and you've forgotten the details, you know? So, yeah, are you losing yourself in the details, or are you not paying attention enough to the details? See how that falls. And then the final one is purse. Pay attention to your finances. So for March, so January, February, March, I feel like it feels like a period of contraction with this, but it's a contraction towards an expansion. So with the criticism, with the self-respect, it's going to bring like this leap in consciousness, which is going to be like a good thing. So it's like connect back to source, unplug from what is not divine source. And you're going to say to me, everything is divine source, and you're true to some extent. But I think there's some things that allow us to connect to divine source, and there are things that definitely disconnect us. And I think we're all looking for connection. So just a general warning, just be careful maybe not to spend as you go internally and you introspect and you connect. You won't need to spend as much, and maybe you'll be able to connect the criticism to the self-respect in some way or form. So I hope this helps you. You can always use this symbol to help you navigate these next 3 months. Remember, you can save them, take a picture of them, whatever it is that you need to do. And there's also the frequency that you can use. So I wish you a beautiful week, and hopefully this will help you unlock the key to these next 3 3 months. Namaste. Hey, if you chose key 3, this is your pile, this is your reading, and this is the key of life, spinning the Ankh, the key of life. This is from the Isis Oracle deck, in case you're wondering where it's from. So let's see what this key is about and what is it unlocking. So, oh, this one came out. This key is about, it fell out of the deck, so I'm going to take it right away. This is about intimacy. It's the symbol of intimacy, and it's a symbol to use to develop intimacy with yourself, mostly. So being comfortable with those dark places in yourself, but also being able to develop intimacy with another being. So if you're scared of being intimate with yourself, the idea is that you can't be intimate with somebody else. You can be superficial with somebody else if you stay superficial with yourself. So this is also a card about self-awareness, but it's a card about weaving intimacy with people and relationships. And there's definitely a fear that's coming up about this, like that you find intimacy scaring, intimacy with yourself. My husband makes me laugh. He's a real Capricorn in that sense. And he says to me, well, I'm not self-aware. I don't want to look at my umbilicus and you know, keep looking at myself and making everything about myself. And I keep telling him that there's a difference between self-awareness and just being self-centered, right? Which is what he's pointing to. So this is about self-awareness and weaving intimacy with the parts of yourself that you're uncomfortable with, or you don't like, or even that you're not aware of. And then as an extension, that allows you to weave relationship with other people. And intimate relationships, not superficial ones where you just go out and drink and you don't connect, or however it is that you stay in a superficial connection with people. A little wink here from Sirius is that on Sirius, and I've mentioned this before, the body is transparent, so it's difficult to lie, and people pick up on stuff. And so because of it's so intimate, like when you merge with people, you merge body and heart, it's so intimate. You can't really hide or deceive other people. So this is about, you know, literally that you have to be intimate with yourself first, and with a deep knowing and presence of who you are. So you can use this symbol to weave intimacy with yourself, and you have to. The question here is, where are you resisting yourself? Where are you avoiding being alone with who you truly are? And where are you afraid of opening up to others and revealing your whole unvarnished self, flaws and all? Because this is about embracing completely who you are and who you're becoming. So this key of life will, in a way, force you to allow yourself to become intimate with yourself and with others, which I think is actually good if you're looking for relationships. So this would point to a collective that's looking for like a soulmate or like a deepening of relationship. Well, this is the key to that. Okay, Spirit, God, Creator, Creatrix, Goddess. What is the key? You have the card of power. Look at that. Look at those colors. Look at like, it looks like the Incredibles. If you've ever seen it, like your superpower. The card of, that's what, so this card is, again, if you think of my card as the card of accountability, this is the card of power. This would be the equivalent to that. So, you know, it's realizing that things are happening for us and they're not happening to us. 2 brings that victim attitude, whereas for us brings power. So this is about awakening your power and being aware of where you give your power away. Where are you giving it away? Is it because you're afraid to be unliked, rejected? So this is stop surrendering your power and really own your power and claim it. This is the call to become aware of your power, to trust it and to invoke it. Become a being of power. Become the being of power that you are. Look how beautiful this card is. And I feel like intimacy is the beginning of that power. Intimacy with yourself, knowing that you have that power, and all you have to do is to claim it, awaken it, claim it, and be very mindful of it, and use it. Okay, Spirit, Creator, Creatrix, what key is unlocking for the next 3 months, and what is it about? Oh, these cards are so, oh, there you go, so sticky. So we have the magic prayer. Anything with magic, I love. The magic prayer. So this is always the card of answered prayers, which I love. And but because it's a prayer, you're asking to speak out your prayer. And the best prayer is, thy will be done through me, thy will and not mine be done. So speak out your prayers and listen, and just surrender your wishes and desires. And remember, this is the card of you'll get what, you might not get what you want, but you'll get what you need. So it's also the card of destiny. So, and keep connecting to spirit, you know, and keep asking for your next steps to be shown to you. Okay, a couple more cards and then we'll be done. Okay, spirit, give me information about this particular key. What is it unlocking? What is it that we need to understand about it? Right action. Aparigraha literally means let everything that wants to go, go, and everything that wants to come, come. So that feels like a card of surrender to me. Like surrender. Something that's coming up is I have a bunch of people in my life right now that I'm holding on to, definitely. And they've moved on, but I haven't. And so this is that energy, like not everybody, not everything is supposed to come into this next part of your life. So maybe you could use these months to really sit and see, are these people aligned energy? Are these things, are these projects, whatever, are they aligned with who you're becoming and who you want to become? And it's about also lightening your load. Like when you make space, things can come through. When we have so many things that there's just no room for things for chi, if you think, or energy to circulate, for the divine to come through. So this is really like a card of deep surrender, and that brings through right action. Okay, and I wanted to give you, so I got this new deck, I mentioned it in last week's reading. It's like a herbal deck. So what, we have more information on what key is. You have the card of shape-shifting, moonflower. So you can literally use these herbs that are coming through, the moonflower, shape-shifting. You know how we go through all these phases and we keep shifting shapes, so that it speaks of flexibility, adaptability, the ability to keep morphing into something and to letting go of who we were, those all parts of us, which goes back again to the right action card and allowing ourselves to transform into something else. So this particular plant is known for its powerful psychoactive properties, and it symbolizes an ability to transcend limits and shift perspectives. So it allows you to shift in and out of situations, I guess, or challenges. So it's like it creates this flexibility in you to be able to change your mindset, your behavior, or anything else. So this is a really supportive herbal ally as you go through, I guess, these next 3 months. So it really supports growth and transformation and adaptability. I have a teacher who always talks about the spleen meridian. Spleen meridian is an earth meridian. And her theory is that if the dinosaurs had had a strong spleen, that they would have survived. And so this makes me think of spleen, even though like this is actually a spirit plant. The spleen meridian, it's like this ability to adapt to new situations and to keep adapting, because if you have an adaptable system, then you can survive and adapt and change. So that's kind of the energy. So you could definitely use the moonflower, drink moonflower, make tinctures with it, however you feel called to. Okay, I'm going to end up with, I will finish with 2 tea leaves because they're fun. I just love these tea leaves. They're just like, okay, more information about what this key is unlocking. Come on. Oh, there's one. So we have the kite. Vacation. Oh, maybe some of you should be thinking about going somewhere. Maybe you'll meet somebody. Maybe a vacation will allow you to stop running away from the intimacy and allow you to clamp down on that deep connection. Maybe a vacation with yourself, like a silent retreat or like a spiritual retreat, or maybe it's time to do a spiritual retreat at home where you have to listen to who you are. It can be very uncomfortable, but very, very powerful. And then the second one, oh, this one jumped out. Oh, you have marriage. So the card of marriage, which could literally be meaning like that you're going to get married. But I also see it more as like the marriage between yourself and yourself, like the marriage between your intimacy, your intimate self, and also your power, which actually then will allow you to have your prayers answered and let go of a lot of stuff. So like a marriage between the soul, the heart, and all these different parts of yourself. So I hope this helped. I wish you a beautiful week. Have fun with your keys. And until next time, namaste.